Hey everyone, I'm Abby Sharp. Welcome to Abby's Kitchen. Today I wanted to do another little vlog, just because I got this little vlogging camera. I'm gonna do more of these things. I'm having lunch, so just gonna eat my takeout whole food salad here, my massive salad. So we'll see how I do. But one of the things I want to talk about, because I got asked a lot about this week, was about my journey to become a registered dietitian. So I thought I would share with you how I became a registered dietitian, and also in the description I'll share some resources if you are thinking about going down this path. Okay, so first of all, let's take it back like forever ago. I was a student in high school. I went to an art school, and I was hardcore and artsy fartsy. I did musical theater, dance, singing, music, art, all the things. I was really into performance arts. That was my forte. So I stopped doing any grade 11 and grade 12 biology and chemistry because I was so busy doing dancing and musical theater and singing and blah, blah, blah. And so I really was not interested in doing anything science related. I basically made it my mandate that I would never go into a career that was science related. So I just didn't I didn't kind of follow through on the rest of those courses. And then I went to university. I was doing a BA, a basic general BA. My plan was to go to teachers college to teach theater and music. And so I was going down that path. And part of my degree required us to take a science course, some kind of like a human sciences course. And I chose anatomy, and I loved it. I mean, it was like a early 20s crisis, if that's a thing. I'm pretty sure it's got to be a thing because those were hard years. And I came to this realization where I felt like I didn't even know who I was anymore. My identity had completely changed. And so I felt like, my whole life I was so right-brained. I had never even exercised my left brain before. I had never thought about numbers. I didn't want the black and white. I was living in the gray. I was living super creatively and imaginatively. And that was where I was comfortable with, because also my family and my parents are also very arts-focused people. So my whole family were very kind of focused in the arts. So this is what I grew up with. Nobody was into the sciences, that's for sure. And basically, I had this realization, I actually really like this. So I transferred into kinesiology. And just it was bringing me joy. The numbers were bringing me joy. The black and white was bringing me joy. I was loving kind of all of the information about the body. And it makes sense because at the same time, I was really at the height of struggling with my eating disorder, orthorexia. If you haven't watched my whole video about that, you can check it out right here. But in that moment, I was really interested in health. And as I went through the kinesiology program, it clicked to me that, you know what? It's maybe not the exercise portion that I'm really passionate about, which is largely what kin is about. It's more the nutrition related parts, which made sense because while I was going through kind of my eating disorder recovery, I was seeing a dietitian. So I had some insight into what a dietitian does. And obviously I was still kind of struggling. So I was obsessed with food, and I was thinking about nutrition and food and my idea of healthy food, even though it was largely just bullshit I read out of a People magazine. Anyways, I decided that it made more sense for me to transfer into a dietetics program. Now, side note, I'm going to leave some information below, but not all nutrition undergraduate programs are accredited and will lead you down the path to becoming a registered dietitian. There's also a huge difference between a holistic nutritionist or a nutritionist and a dietitian, and I will have to do a whole other video on that because that warrants there's a lot of ground to cover on there. But long story short, I did the research, I found an accredited nutrition program, but there was one thing standing in my way. And that is that I didn't do the grade 11 and grade 12 biology and chemistry. So I had to go back while I was a student in kinesiology and pick up these courses in kind of a continuing education program. It was a lot. I had to have a tutor. She had to walk me through it. It was so overwhelming as someone who had never thought in that kind of science mind before, to have to literally relearn how to think. But anyways, I graduated from grade 11 and grade 12 biology and chemistry. I got into the nutrition program. And while most accredited nutrition programs are 4 years, I only had to do 3 years because I had the transfer credits from my previous degree, which was great. Eating break. I can't just sit in front of food and not eat it. I'm gonna try to be polite. Okay, probably gonna have spinach in my teeth now, but whatever. So basically, in my nutrition degree, we covered everything from food science, biochemistry, chemistry, biology, physiology, exercise, or not really exercise, but like nutrition pathophysiology, nutrition for different kinds of disease states, nutrition through the life cycle, social and cultural dimensions of food, social dimensions of food, all of those kinds of things, or social determinants of food is what a food, social determinants of health. Quite a broad curriculum, which is really important. And so I did it in 3 years, graduated top of my class. And when I say top of my class, I mean like actually top of my class. I graduated with a 4.32 average out of 4.33. I had all A pluses across the board except for one A minus. And lady, if you are watching right now, you know who it is. You know who gave me that A minus, and I'm still pissed about it. Anyways, so that was kind of like, as far as I'm concerned, as much of a miserable experience as my undergrad was. That was the easy part. Next, we had to get an internship. It's not just enough to do an accredited undergrad program. You either need to do a 1-year internship, or you can do a master's program that combines an internship with a master's degree, which usually takes about 2 years or so, sometimes more. I've also heard that here in Canada, in Saskatchewan, they now have an undergrad program which is combined. So you not only get your undergrad, but also do the practical experiences of the internship program, which is absolutely amazing. I don't know why they're not all doing that, because let's be real, it is so unfair, in my opinion, to have this bottleneck of students who have done their undergrad, who are A+ students, who are crazy, amazing students, and they can't get these internships because everybody's amazing. On top of being an amazing academic student, you also have to do all this volunteer work, which is crazy. You spend hours, all your weekends and evenings are spent doing volunteer work, working both paid and largely unpaid jobs that are in the field to get experience and put that on your resume. Also for me, I was the president of the Nutrition Student Council. So yeah, I had the leadership, I had the volunteer work, I had the academics all going for me. And the way it works is that you apply to these internships and then you get matched. I've heard that this matching system doesn't happen anymore, and that it's each university or program is completely individual on its own. Don't quote me on that. That might have changed. However, it's still a bottleneck and is still largely very competitive. So it's really not surprising to me that nutrition students have such high levels of like type A personalities and stress and anxiety, and ultimately also eating disorders. There's actually evidence of that as well. Higher correlation of eating disorders in nutrition students. Lots to unpack there. Yeah, so I applied to the internship and I didn't get it. I did my interviews, I interviewed at all the places I applied for, and the first round of those internship letters went out and I didn't get one. It was literally the most heartbreaking day of my life. I mean, really isn't in retrospect. I've had way worse days, trust me. Hashtag infertility. But I will say it was really, really hard. And basically you go to school that day and nobody makes eye contact with you. Nobody wants to talk to one another because, you don't want to ask. You don't want to upset someone's feelings. You don't want to brag. It's overwhelming. It's a toxic environment. And then 2 days later, once people have had a chance to kind of apply, reject or accept their offers, a new round of internship offers went out. And I thankfully got one of those. And so I did an internship. It was 1 year. It was a grueling year. It was emotionally hard, physically hard, long days, just so stressful. The pressure is unreal. Thankfully, some of my best friends today I found and I got in internship. And that's because we really had to stick together and form a bond, and we had to kind of help each other through some of those difficult days and difficult times. And I graduated, wasn't a dietitian yet. Then I had to write an exam that I feel was like 6-hour long exam, which you paid to write. And then you have to pay a bunch of fees to your college. And then you can use the term registered dietitian. So there's a reason why us dietitians are so protective over our title, and that is because we really have had to jump through hoops to get there. So can I take an eating break? Do you mind? You can fast forward through this. All the edamame and good things, and cheese, and the nuts, they're all on the bottom. I don't want to eat the lettuce. So, after all that, I graduated as a shell of a person, and I was kind of like feeling so resentful and just miserable in the dietetics field in general that I kind of wanted nothing to do with counseling. I definitely didn't want to work in a hospital. I think the internship made that very, very clear to me, that this was not the route that I wanted to go down. And I was kind of hobby blogging at the time while I was going through my undergrad and internship, really just doing recipes on my, like a little food blog, doing restaurant reviews, not nutrition related. I just wanted to talk about food. And considering I had that 4.332 average in school, basically everyone and their grandmother convinced me that I needed to pursue academia. I needed to go all the way. And so that's what I figured I was supposed to do. I was destined to do. I got a full scholarship to a very prestigious sociology program, a master's that rolled into a PhD. And my goal as a dietitian was to research kind of some of the social aspects of eating. And a lot of the stuff that I talk about here on the channel, it just happened, well, this is really just my area of interest. So it made sense that I kind of approach that from an academic perspective as well. However, if I thought that the undergrad sucked and the internship sucked, my master's really was depressing. Basically, while I wanted to do research on the sociology of food, which is still fascinating to me, obviously, I had to go through all this, like, you know, the basic kind of concepts of sociology that I had never learned anything about because I did not have a sociology undergrad. So I was reading Karl Marx like one page at a time, again and again and again, being like, what the is this? I don't understand anything I'm reading right now, and it does not interest me at all. So I was very miserable. And so I had a presentation on like a Monday or something like that. It was all ready. I had written it, spent all week working on it. And that night I had this epiphany where I was like, I am so miserable. I'm not going to be happy doing this, not for the rest of the year, and definitely not through a PhD. You got to really love what you're doing to do a PhD. I just really wanted to get my blog off the ground and kind of work full time doing this blogging thing, which at the time was not a real job. Like nobody was a full-time blogger. That was not a career option. But what I did was I pulled up my computer and I wrote a document that was called Abby's Dreams. And I wrote down all the things that I wanted to accomplish in the next year. One, or foreseeable few years. Write a cookbook, get on daytime TV, expand my blog to, you know, a bunch of viewers all over the world. And I'm really happy to say that I've done all of those things on my to-do list many times over, in fact, other than just one book so far. And I took a leap. I took a full leap. I emailed my professor. I said, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'm going to speak to the dean. I'm going to have to pay back my entire scholarship. I realized that, which sucked. But it was so worth it because it felt so freeing. And at the same time that I was breaking free of this kind of like expectation on me that I was supposed to be some academic superstar, I was also kind of shedding my disordered eating. My blog really did kind of serve as the jumping off point to a healthier relationship with food. And I explain a lot more about that in detail in my book, The Mindful Glow Cookbook. So if you don't have that, definitely get the book. It is in the description below. And I talk a lot about that. So I took a huge leap of faith that I had no idea what I was going to do or how I was going to do it, but I did. And the reason why this path made sense for me as a dietitian was because I had a background in theater and TV and performance and all that stuff, public speaking, etc. So it was a real natural progression for me. I basically created a whole new niche, a whole kind of area of practice. That was definitely not something that we were taught about in school when I was studying to become a dietitian. There really was no media classes that were even touching on any social media components. Now I believe that they do, thank God, but back then, not so much. So knowing that, I think a lot of you guys, well, not a lot, I don't know if a lot, but I get a lot of questions from my viewers about my path to become a dietitian, or saying that you are an RD2B or a nutrition student, you're thinking about going into nutrition. I want to offer a little bit of advice on, helping you through this process, both the undergrad and also the internship too, because you really can't become a dietitian without going through this whole pathway. So number one is to start volunteering now. I know it's hard, but really put your heart into it, because you want to make sure that you explore a wide range of different dietetics areas of practice. So clinical and research, public health, counseling, kind of food service. There's so many different places that dietitians work. We don't just all wear lab coats and prescribe diets or hand out Canada's Food Guide or America's Food Guide in the hospital. I don't actually know anybody who's a dietitian that just hands out Canada's Food Guide, just so you know. But anyways, yeah, there's just so much to explore, and you really want to just dive in and dig deep. And that will really give you a good indication too, if this is something that you actually are passionate about. Because let me tell you, if you're in the undergrad and you're being like, ooh, you know what, maybe I don't actually really like this. Don't put yourself through the hell of an internship or a career down the road if it's really not feeling like a good fit. So this is a good opportunity for you to learn the ropes, and also very important for your resume for you to get those internships. Number two, know your why. So when you do those internship interviews, it's really important that you stand out, because every single student, I'm telling you, looks amazing. We have amazing grades. We're all type A. We study hard. We work hard. We volunteer hard. We have so much leadership skills. It's incredible. So you need to stand up and know your story, know why you're passionate about this industry, why you have longevity here. And I think that's what really will help you stand out amongst the crowd. Number three, network. Go to lots of events, go to conferences, go to expos, put yourself out there, meet people, talk to people, get to know what the other dietitians or kind of industry leaders are doing. I think that really does make a difference, because when you go to your internship interview and maybe you've already met that person, hey, you've already got a leg up. Okay, number four, learn some good study skills. I cannot tell you how many people just do not know how to study, and I think it's such a really important skill, because studying, like, you're going to be doing a lot of it. I'm telling you, there's a lot to memorize, and sometimes I think too much to memorize. Like, no dietitian ever has had to tell a patient or client about the Krebs cycle. Don't know why we had to memorize that. But anyways, yeah, you're gonna have to memorize and learn a lot of things. So figure out your learning style. It might be worth taking a little course about this at your local university or college, or even there's lots of resources online or on YouTube to help you learn some really good learning and kind of note-taking and studying skills. Number five, find a mentor, someone that you really look up to, someone that you can shadow and learn from, and really kind of watch how they interact in this industry. I think really will kind of set the tone for your career path. I had an amazing mentor. Her name is Jackie Gingras, and she taught me about HAES. She taught me about intuitive eating. I probably would never be the dietitian that I am today if it was not for her. So find your Jackie, I guess you could say, and you know, take the time to really invest in learning with them. Next, I don't remember what number we're at, but I would say, you know, ask for help. If you are struggling, because this is a very overwhelming process, it's super stressful, it's anxiety provoking, reach out. A lot of schools, universities, and colleges have counselors and people that can help you kind of walk you through this process. I definitely think it's really worth taking the time to kind of just get help. I know we think, oh, I don't have time in the day to go to counseling. It will save you time because you'll be way more efficient and you'll be a happier, healthier person. And on that note, take care of yourself. You know, make sure that you're nourishing your body with good food, exercise, move your body, focus on good sleep and stress management, and take some time to be social, to have those kind of fun nights with your girlfriends or your classmates. You know, it is a really stressful kind of program, I found, and I think everybody finds that. It's super competitive. So find your people, find the people that you really truly trust, and those people very well likely will be in your life forever because you have been through absolute hell together. Yeah, so on that note, I guess I really sold it, but I would say, of course, I love my job. I love my career. I'm so grateful to be a dietitian, and I think this industry is just blossoming. It's so exciting right now. And I obviously made a very kind of unique niche for myself, which you can do too. Find your niche, find what you're passionate about. If you're a dietitian student or an intern and you're looking for volunteer opportunities, I take a lot of interns, so definitely leave me a comment below and I'll let you know how to get in touch with me. So guys, again, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it the thumbs up. Leave me a comment below with any questions you have about the industry, about me. I'll do lots more of these kind of Q&As if you have any kind of questions. I think it's super fun and casual. Let me know if you like this kind of style of vlogging video. It's definitely more casual than a lot of my other videos, but good to switch it up. And subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye.